I don't feel safe. Ohio's train derailed.
We're gonna go full good faith, okay? I'm telling all of you right now at the start of this, okay? I am willing to change my mind about Asmongold, okay? I'm not changing my mind about the fact that his community is unbelievably misogynistic. That's not happening. But I am willing to change my mind on whether or not he had a fair opinion on this, okay?
I did not know there was a place called Palestine in Ohio. And for the first day of this controversy and this thing happening, I was like, well, how the fuck did that? Like, how did they? Why are we covering this so much? I mean, it's a cloud all the way over there. Like, it's all. What are we doing?
Tell everybody they're safe. I think our citizens are safe. I think my drinking water is safe.
Yeah, for sure it is. That's right.
We're at the town hall meeting here in East Palestine where hundreds, if not thousands of residents have gathered to ask their questions. They've basically forced the mayor into having this targeted town hall.
Is it bad faith to make a joke saying that, like, Asmongold isn't allowed to comment on drinking water if all he drinks is, like, big gulps? Is that bad faith? Can I make that joke, or does that make me bad faith? I just want to make the joke. I think it'll be a funny joke. Is that okay if I say it? Okay, is that okay? It's just a joke. It's just a joke. It's just a joke, okay? All right.
Many people outside of 1 mile radius are being affected by this and not getting help because we're not in 1 mile radius.
It's been almost 2 weeks.
Wouldn't that suck? Is like you finally get to be mayor of like some bumfuck town in Ohio. So really you just get to go around patting yourself on the back and everybody knows about you. And then like just out of nowhere.
Wait, has he actually said this? He only drinks Dr. Pepper. It has fruit in it, he says. Is this real? I can't tell if this is real.
There's like a national fucking biohazard disaster and you have to do your job and everybody fucking hates you. That would suck, man.
Okay, wait.
Train derailed.
He's actually right about that. I would be so mad. I'd be like, finally, I'm mayor. Okay, time to do absolutely nothing in this whatever fucking town in Ohio. And then there's like a train derailment and you're like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding? I was trying to get a job where I wouldn't work and now you're going to make me fucking work?
This small Ohio town,
yeah,
spilling hazardous chemicals and igniting a fire that burned for days. This is the first time officials are directly addressing residents about what happened. Norfolk Southern, the company that owns the train, was supposed to be here too, but at the last minute, they bailed.
Oh, you don't say. You mean to tell me that the train, the people who allowed this thing to happen, the train company, they wouldn't show up? That's crazy.
That they were scared for their safety before they got here. There's police everywhere. Why we're scared too? Why can't we get in?
I will get your question. We will respond to you. I will ask that question on your behalf.
The train derailed on February 3rd at 8:54 p.m.
This seems like a really big fuck up. Everybody always thought that this was some kind of like fucking massive conspiracy and it was like some weird Area 51 government thing.
I'm going to speed him up just a
Nah,
little.
I just think they were trying to save money and they fucked up. Like somehow at the very bottom of this, I bet it's a cost-cutting measure that caused this to happen. Yeah, they're just trying to save money.
20 cars of hazardous materials.
Yeah, I mean, this is correct. Yep.
Including vinyl chloride, a highly flammable toxic gas that causes central nervous system problems and has been linked to a host of cancers.
Not evacuated. Please
Get the fuck out of there!
In the days after the accident,
Holy
He was 3 minutes in. Oh, Lord. Oh, goodness me. Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness me.
shit!
worried the vinyl chloride could explode, so they did a controlled burn.
So this is what I mean, chat. This is what I mean. When I say, like, I'm a railroad expert, if you have questions, I'll let you know. Joe Perry. This is what I mean, by the way, when I say, like, just zero of the conversation should be about the residents. My personal opinion, zero of the conversation should be around the residents, because it's just like, it's just not offensive in like the triggered way, in like the SJW offensive. It's offensive in like it's just demeaning. It's demeaning to say like these other adults who are doing the best they can.
Phosgene, a gas used as a chemical warfare agent in World War I.
What the fuck?
Videos soon spread widely from residents who were afraid and unsure of what they'd been exposed to.
Yeah.
Okay, so the problem is, okay. So I will give credence to this, by the way. I will 100% give credence to this. My problem, and I'll say it again, I don't mind saying it again. To be fair, it's kind of a knee-jerk reaction to such a calamity. My problem is that in response to people telling him that was kind of mean and you shouldn't have said that, he triples down. Instead of saying, yeah, that was a knee-jerk reaction, my bad. Obviously, do whatever you can, whenever you can. Protect yourself. He doesn't do that. He like screams at these people. He calls them little bitches. And then he bans all these people. That's my problem.
Smells like a chlorine.
Bro, if that was me, I would just turn around and drive. I would just be like, look, I'm going to be back in like a month. I'm going to get my PC. I'm going to get one extra shirt. And I'll be back in a month. That's all I need. I'll see you guys then.
Leaves like a bad taste in your throat.
Oh.
Many reported rashes, sore throats, nausea, headaches, and respiratory problems, as well as seeing sick animals and water covered in a chemical
Alex
sheen.
Jones is not going to like that one.
That's safe.
Yeah, so like if you look at that, how could it not be safe? There's literally rainbows in the water. What's more beautiful than a rainbow? Think about it, right? Yeah, I mean, that's the most natural.
I've changed my mind. You want to know what? I've changed my mind. I actually am going to become the biggest Asmongold fan. Okay? I'm going to become the biggest Asmongold fan starting today because he makes me look like a fucking genius, dude. I've never had people make me look so smart before. Holy shit. Oh my god, that's it. I'm not shitting on Asmongold anymore. That's it. No, it's not happening. Are you kidding me? Dog, like I look like a genius. Holy, I have never felt this smart before. Oh my god. Oh my god. I know that he's just joking. I know that he's just yoking when he says stuff like this, but like man.
Have. That's a shitty.
Here's the thing. I also disagree with making jokes about something that's this serious. And I get it. I've probably done it before. I'm not saying that like, oh, he's a monster for doing this. This is like something that is easy for me to say now watching it. And it's hard to tell in the moment whether or not you would be capable of knowing when you should or when you shouldn't joke about something. But in general, anytime that there's going to be loss of life or injury or health conditions, you probably shouldn't be making jokes. You know what I mean?
Is better than my house.
In here.
That's true. It is better than his house.
I noticed the smell right away. I can smell a cleaner smell.
Yeah, so like context matters, right? So if someone was like, no, the water is safe, I think making a joke being like, yeah, rainbow water is always safe to drink, that would be acceptable, right? But oh God, wow, this guy really needs a lot of PR training. It's actually embarrassing.
Less than a mile from the derailment.
All right.
This is the first time she's been back home to let independent contractors hired by Norfolk Southern test the air for any harmful chemicals still.
Bro, I'm gonna be real. Like, I would never go in this place without a fucking mask on. Like, I don't give a fuck what the machine says. You see that big ass fucking cloud? What you think happened? Yeah, I would be done. I would be gone for, as I said, a month.
Lingering. The company has been working with the EPA to run these tests and has cleared over 550 homes in the area.
It smells like a chemical concoction in here. I'm literally dizzy.
Well, I mean, like, how are they, like, what, how are y'all, what the fuck are y'all doing? Get the fuck out of there. What do you, like, bro, it smells so bad. There's chemicals everywhere. I'm dizzy. Like, get the fuck out. Company
Okay,
probably, yeah.
so like this is what people took issue with, yeah? This is what people take issue with. They're poor is the problem. They can't afford to get an Airbnb in another city for a month. They can't afford to relocate for a month. You can afford to relocate because you Grubhub every single order that you have, which is fine. No one's shitting on you for doing that. That's fine. Do whatever you want. But people don't have that. So you are expecting people to move all of their clothes that they need, all of their like things that they need for work, their food, their like kitchen utensils so that they can cook because they can't afford to eat takeout all the time. And they can't afford to drive like miles and miles to get to their job. A lot of the people here literally have jobs in this neighborhood. They can't afford to just not work. Like this is the problem.
is the guy that worked at the government and coincidentally was the one who suggested that company. And to save money, that company didn't get extra suits and masks for the employees because it would cost $11 extra, and they have 300 employees, so it would be like $3,000, and that's like so much money. And so like they just figured, you know what, like, hey, yo, fuck it, like it should be fine, right? Because like the machine says so.
You guys know why the chatter hasn't responded? Because he's Googling what jurisprudence means.
I would not come back in here. Mm-mm.
Get the fuck out.
Not like this.
Ugh.
This is going to be your copy. We had non-detections of VOC throughout the whole house.
What would you attribute that smell to? Because I know damn well that was not a normal smell that we have in the house.
A chemical burn that probably is going to give you cancer in 5 years, but, you know, that's a surprise for later. I'll talk to you later, man. All right, we got work to do.
Smell is... I'm not sure exactly what it could be.
Yeah.
A lot of homes are different.
I mean, every
Even
house
though
is
her home was
different.
deemed safe,
Look,
Jenna's plans to keep staying at a hotel
hey,
20 miles outside of town, where she brought her
that cat is going to have a baby, and it's going to have 6 legs.
9-year-old son, Maddox, after the night of the accident.
Yeah, I mean, okay. So the more I'm watching of this, I feel like the more I'm understanding why people were upset. This is very, he's like making jokes about a situation that's really serious, and you shouldn't do that. I'm pretty sure all the animals basically just died because their bodies are just so tiny they couldn't take it. I'm pretty sure this is why people didn't like it. It's just because, like, it would feel like shit to be in East Palestine right now and then watch this guy. Like, you just imagine this for a second, chatter. Just imagine this. If you were an Asmongold viewer, you love Asmongold, you're like, this is great. You know what? I just want to watch a guy who plays World of Warcraft, who's chill, who can vibe. Okay. Flippant would be the right word. Yeah. My family is like literally relocating, and we probably all have gotten some type of cancer at this point. But at least we were able to relocate. And you watch this guy making jokes about like how that cat is going to like have like a litter of like 6-legged, kittens. And you are here thinking my whole family's life was uprooted because of a corporation. And my pets literally died, and you think this is the appropriate time to make a joke? It's like, that's the problem. I've talked about it before, just very briefly. I don't make small dick jokes. I don't do it. I never do it. And the reason I don't do it is because despite the fact that I don't get a physical sensation, like I don't feel bad. Like, I don't feel like the emotional badness from saying that. Like, it doesn't impact me in the same way that like the R word doesn't impact me. It's never impacted me. I don't get personally like offended when people use it. It doesn't even bother me at all, but I don't say it because I know how much it hurts other people. And that's the same reason I don't make small dick jokes, because you don't choose how big your dick is. You literally, it's not up to you. It's completely not up to you. And I don't want people in the stream to hear me making a joke about someone who's like a piece of shit. Like someone like Andrew Tate and be like, oh, well, this guy has a small dick. And there are like good leftists in chat that are like, okay, well, I'm going to unfollow. I'm not really interested in watching someone who makes fun of that. Because, yeah. So I try not to do stuff like that. You know what I mean? I try not to. And I try not to. You didn't get to choose. I wanted a dick that was easy to travel with. But yeah, so are you typing in the wrong chat room?
About
And
3
one
in
ear.
the morning, I thought I was losing my mind. I thought I started smelling something. I
Uh-huh.
started getting a pretty bad headache. I started getting
bet.
really dizzy.
Yep.
I felt nauseous. My eyes were burning. My nose was burning. My throat was burning.
Yeah.
Not even 5 to 10 minutes later, I heard something. I heard a sound, and I said, I think that was Matic. So when I walked in there, he was shaking really bad, like violently shaking, kind of tremors, like not just a little bit. It was like bad, and he was projectile vomiting across the floor, and he was saying, I need water, I can't breathe. And then his eyes looked like he didn't know what was going on. He looked so scared, and I said, we gotta go, we gotta get out of here.
What kind of answers are you hoping to hear?
So that's like her kid? Oh, is it cat? Wait, I'm so confused. Because it's a kid. Because I don't think a cat has ever talked to me. Yeah, I was about to say, that's a kid. Holy fuck.
What kind of information do you feel like you need?
Hey, yo, boys, isn't it going to be great whenever our tax money goes towards the settlements that these people are going to get from the government?
But why would you say that? Can any Asmongold defenders defend this? Why would you say that? That's so fucking cruel. The steel man is that he's saying the company should pay for it. Maybe because he criticizes government fuck up that people are going to pay for it. What did he say? I just got here. I'll just replay it.
Wouldn't it be great?
What kind of information do you feel like you need?
Hey, yo, boys, isn't it going to be great whenever our tax money goes towards the settlements that these people are going to get from the government? That's going to be super awesome that we have to pay more money to these people because the government tried to save money. That's so cool. Wow. Good job, guys. Yeah, we're going to have to pay for this shit.
Just like to see.
But why would you say it like that? Genuine question. Has Asmongold ever taken like a course in like rhetoric before? So if I go full steel man, okay, this is the most good faith I'm ever going to be, I think, in my entire life. But I have like a 2023 stream goal to be as good faith as possible. The steel man here is just like, isn't it fucked up that due to a corporation being greedy, we are the ones to be punished? That would be the steel man to what he said. But those aren't the words that escaped his mouth. And he's been like callously joking about the situation. Like there's a time and place to joke about things. There's a time and place to like say shit like this. And this is not the place. This is not the time.
More transparency with just local and state governments.
Yeah, I bet that's going to happen.
Giving us assistance. Right now they're saying, oh, our team said they didn't test anything in the air. Well, let's talk about the soil. Let's talk about this residue. Why are people getting sick if it's fucking safe? Why are they getting
Exactly.
sick? You don't believe it? Yeah, no, absolutely not. I definitely don't trust Norfolk or the team that they hired. I don't think they should have been given the ability to hold the reins on the narrative.
No, the odds are what they did is they knew what the chemical was and they could have used... I don't know. This is kind of a pretty big... I can't be sure, but like, here's the thing. Is if your machine isn't picking anything up, but people are projectile vomiting and everybody's getting a headache and they're sick, maybe you should recalibrate the machine. Maybe you should use a different machine. Because if I was a conspiracy theorist, I would say that the reason why they're using those machines is intentional because those machines are not made to pick up what they believe it actually could be. You know?
Huh? The hell in the... It's like every single sentence that he says, he just needs someone else to like edit it. It's like every single word that comes out of his mouth is like, okay, this is mean. No. We're being good faith. We're being good faith. He just needs to like write second drafts and like third drafts before he publishes. No, I understand what he's saying. He's saying that like, you know, the company is sending out people to do PR and say, well, actually, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. It's actually not that bad. When in reality, it is that bad. Because internal investigations are always sussy, which I'm sure he knows a few things about internal investigations. So I'm not surprised that he was able to come to the right conclusion there. Not surprised.
They're checking
James
for ghosts, not
Babsack, a
poison?
toxicologist who studies chemical exposures, says residents are right to remain skeptical. Some of these residents are being told, you know, it's safe to come back, we've tested your air, and you should have no
Also,
concerns.
I'm going to make a claim. I'm going to make a claim really quickly. All right? Really quickly. Just really, really quickly. People like Asmongold will complain that, like, people are unfair. And I agree. I don't disagree that people are very unfair. 100%. People are very, very unfair on just like in general on like Twitch, on Twitter, everywhere. Like if you can be clip chimped, people will do it. And it basically happens mostly when you talk about political stuff, because political stuff is stuff that is core to people's being. I am going to hear a joke from someone else at my expense, and it's not going to sit well with me. That's just how that works, right? And the bigger you get, the more people that are going to be constantly watching, constantly seeing if you're saying or doing the wrong thing. But that comes with the territory. If you don't want to deal with that, do what Moon Moon does. You're not allowed to be like, well, I want to cover this, and then be like, wait, you guys are going to criticize me about the way that I cover it? It comes with the territory. That's just how it is. If you don't want to deal with that, if you don't want to deal with people being like, this was phrased badly, this was phrased badly, this was phrased badly, then go back to doing WoW. But you don't get to complain that it's like, well, oh, so like, what, just because I'm covering a sensitive topic, I have to be sensitive about it?
You could work in OTK as their PR. You know what, it has to be said.
That's like that's my problem with it. That's my problem. It's just like, if it frustrates you, because it frustrates me. Like, I will tweet innocuous things sometimes and people will be like, actually, did you know that blah, 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 blah. And on those days, I'm just like, yep, I'm not going on Twitter for the rest of the day, muting this thread. I'm good. It's absurd to me. But that comes with the territory. Like, I know what I signed up for, you know? It would be like going and getting like strawberry ice cream and then being like, wait a minute, you're telling me this has strawberries in it? I'm allergic. It's like, you bro, it comes with the territory, you know? If people are going to be upset at you for it, you have to be more careful about it.
Come back in. Some of them are distrustful of that information.
Right. That's an obvious distrust. We don't really know what chemicals are left in the ground.
This guy's a professor of environmental and occupational health, University of Pittsburgh.
May migrate over time to eventually contaminate a person's well. Well,
of course that would happen, right? I mean, it's not like you just get rid of it. I mean, where do you think it goes?
A child playing in that vicinity on that ground. So if we don't know what the chemical is that we should be concerned about, then it's very hard to predict what the sort of long-term effects might be.
Would you move back if you were in one of these homes and you were told it was safe?
Would you go back?
That would depend. If I had a young child.
That's a good question.
Or if my wife was pregnant. That might put another level of what I'm going to do about this. But by the same token, I need to also consider what my resources are. I mean, can I really afford?
True. I mean, you can't afford to go anywhere else, so you're just going to die. That's just the way it is. Hey, look, that's the way it goes. Look, there's winners, there's losers.
To spend a week or two.
What the fuck? Oh my God. How is this worse than the clips? It's worse. It's worse than the clips that are on LSM. Guys, you just don't understand. You don't understand what satire is. Have you tried Googling what satire is? He's a master of irony. This is so bad. This is so bad. Oh my God. This is really bad. Saying that some people are winners and losers in response to a train derailment that's going to kill people's pets, people's like careers, their
You really
lives.
said just take the L and die.
I have no words for this.
more in a hotel and not be in my home. Maybe I work in that town. Do I really have the opportunity to leave my job?
True.
Do I have another place or not have another place to stay?
These are bad choices, though.
They are bad choices. I mean, or at least they're not choices that people would like to be able to make, right? 5 rail cars of vinyl chloride is significant. And how much vinyl chloride is left in the ground? That's the big question. That would be a question that if I was living there, I would want to know.
I'm sure they'll tell you.
That answer could be a long time coming.
Just one quick question. We're just going to run in and
2 weeks after the derailment, the first cabinet member finally arrived in East Palestine, alongside state and local officials, in an attempt to reassure residents.
For those areas that we have deemed safe, we believe that because the science and the data...
This is an EPA administrator.
...proves that. But that is not to discount any experience that any resident has had.
Is there a plan for long-term testing for people who are worried that they might not be having what something might show up in 5-10 years? Is there a plan to continue monitoring this area?
Yeah, there's 2 phases. This is the emergency phase. We are, as we speak, working on the long-term remediation plan. That will include a sampling plan for surface water, for drinking water, for air, all of the things that you're talking about, and for soil.
I wish somebody would just ask them, so how's it safe if people are throwing up? How's that happen? Hold up, wait a second. I mean, come on.
I think I'm starting to get it. I think I get it now. I get it. I like how his whole personality is being sarcastic asshole circa 2007. It's innovative, creative, interesting. This has really opened up my eyes, this message. I get it. He's playing this character, but it works for the people that it works with, and it just doesn't work for literally everybody else. He's being sarcastic there. To be fair, he's being sarcastic. As someone who used to watch a lot of him, he's being totally sarcastic. Okay, I'm not trying to shit on you, Whimsky TV. Okay, I'm not trying to, genuinely. That's not how sarcasm works. I feel like a lot of people don't know what sarcasm and irony are. Sarcasm and irony isn't when you just say something callous and then you're like, I was being sarcastic. That's not what sarcasm is. Okay? It's not. It's please. My 8th grade English teacher would have a conniption right now if he had you as a student. He would be so upset. I don't know why, but my 8th grade English teacher, he had a hate boner for anyone who used irony or sarcasm in the wrong way. And so it's drilled into my brain. Permanently drilled into my brain that now anytime I see someone that uses these terms incorrectly, I'm like, Jesus Christ. I think much more likely, let me put this here. Much more likely it's that so he obviously cares about cares. We'll put that in maybe some bigger quotes. Sarcasm is an art. Not all are gifted enough to wield it. Yeah. Sarcasm is when you use irony to mock or convey contempt. So if he's being sarcastic, who is he conveying contempt towards? Also, I'm going to make the claim that when you use sarcasm, it should be obvious to everyone who you are displaying the contempt for. If people listen to it, and a good number of people listen to it, and a good number of people are not catching the sarcasm, you're not doing it correctly. If there's a small portion of people are never going to get a joke, a small portion of people are never going to understand some things, that's fine. But if gigantic swaths of people are I'm just not getting it, there's something that you're doing incorrectly. In the same way that if you say a joke and nobody laughs, maybe your joke was funny, but your delivery was bad. It's the same thing. If you make a sarcastic comment and nobody gets that it's sarcastic, you didn't executed well. But what I did want to say was it's not like he's a creature of zero empathy, right? He says here.
So how's it safe if people are throwing up? How's that happen? Hold up, wait a second.
Right, he's concerned for the citizens. He's saying these people are fucking liars. What do you mean it's safe? It's very clearly not safe, right? But the problem is that it's like surrounded by all this other garbage. You know?
You seem to have a hard time understanding sarcasm. He's saying the opposite of what he thinks, the absurdity of which actually emphasizes a point. You might want to look into what is satire later. I am very smart.
Stop it.
I mean, come on.
The wreck in East Palestine was just one of more than 1,000 derailments that happen every year.
Jesus.
Less of an accident than a tragic inevitability. Workers say there's a direct line from these incidents to the aggressive ways railroads have slashed costs, largely through a method.
Wow, boys, who could have ever predicted that? What a fucking surprise.
So this is sarcasm. This is sarcasm that's being executed well. This is sarcasm that all of us are going to understand. This is well done sarcasm. The things that were happening earlier were not sarcasm. Maybe you could say that they were like, he was trying to criticize the corporations by doing X, Y, Z, blah, 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 blah. This is sarcasm. We all know what sarcasm is when it actually happens.
Damn. Who could have guessed?
Known as precision scheduled railroading. PSR is supposed to be about maximizing efficiency by reducing how much time trains spend sitting in the rail yard. But in practice, railroad employees have told Vice News it's led to longer trains, fewer inspections, and smaller, more overworked crews. Norfolk Southern, which made a record $3 billion in profit last year, implemented PSR in 2019. It also successfully lobbied against new safety procedures for certain trains carrying hazardous materials.
So, wait a second, what did it say? The rail companies block the safety rules? Oh my god. That's so fucking funny and stupid. Before the derailment, Norfolk Southern lobbied against safety rules. Well, how about that? Wow, what goes around comes around. One of these people gonna gather money for something? I don't know. There's a movie about this exact incident. This town 2 years ago is nuts.
That wasn't sarcasm, chat. That wasn't sarcasm. Oh Lord, I'm gonna something is happening to my brain.
Democracy at work. The sad thing is that people are so fucking stupid.
So that was sarcasm. Democracy at work. Yeah. That was sarcasm. But him saying this is so funny wasn't.
Gonna re-vote for whatever guy took the money.
Oh man.
Can y'all believe that? They're just gonna vote for him again. They're gonna see me. Oh well, I mean, you know.
Certain trains carrying hazardous
materials. Oh my god.
Scott Wilcox was a locomotive engineer for Norfolk Southern for 18 years before he retired in July.
The railroad's a tough place to work to start with. It's demanding. You're on call 24/7, 365.
Fuck that.
It seemed like the last several years that things got worse. It all had to do with this precision scheduled railroading that they came up with a few years ago, cutting jobs, cutting costs.
Isn't it funny how, like, it doesn't matter who it is that talks about their job, they're all saying the same thing? It's like, it doesn't matter if it's a railroad, game development, Walmart, McDonald's, or like some fucking accounting firm. It's like all the same. Or some software development company. Massive protests starting to rise in Turkey due to discovered proof of HARP causing earthquakes. Like, I'm sure that's going to amount to something. The thing is, like, people are going to take your guns, or you not going to have guns. Let me see. Let's see some other good ones that they go with. Some, like, yeah, birds aren't real. Yeah, abortion. Oh, well, now we're not going to let people kill the babies. Or, oh, we're gonna stop people from killing the babies. We got to do that. Meanwhile, they're taking a bunch of fucking money, and they're killing adults and babies. But people can't think about that because it's too abstract. There's, like, too many points of removement. Is that a word? Probably not. Of removal. And they're like, wait, I can't keep up with this. We're going to wipe your student loans. Psych?
Doing everything they can to save a dollar.
How did you feel like it changed the environment?
People are so stupid.
A lot more stressful.
See, this is my problem. This is where I take issue. It's like there's no regard for systems. I wish Asmongold would I wish he would go and listen to like some Michael Brooks. Some of Michael Brooks's like old show appearances on Majority Report, because he just fundamentally doesn't understand the concept of like be cruel to systems, be kind to people. The people who are voting Republican year after year after year after year, those are people whose education system has fucking failed them. Those are people who, when they go to school, they don't learn the beginning of like critical thinking or media literacy. And we should not have contempt for these people. We should not have like a blasé attitude about these people. We should be angry. We should be angry that like we've allowed our country to become such a shithole that 40% of Americans think that the election was stolen. We should be angry that like we've allowed people to consistently vote in their worst interest. You know? And like, this is why people get upset. It's because like, this is such a blasé attitude to have about like these people who don't realize how hard they're getting fucked. He is literally the people he's talking about. He understands the contradictions within capitalism relatively well. It seems he just doesn't get that how things are supposed to work under this system. Yeah. Learning things like Columbus discovered America while simultaneously talking about the inhabitants already there. Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's funny and sad.
The railroad, probably 100 years ago, came up with safety first. When precision scheduled railroading came out, they gave us a list of priorities that we were to work by.
New Jersey is the first nation to legislate information literacy education in K through 12. We did something right. That's so fucking sick. That is what, unironically, what needs to be taught like across the country is media literacy. The fact that people are getting their information from like 4chan meme boards, like literal 4chan psyops, and they're like, and they think that that's real. It's insane to me. What are your pronouns? She, her.
Safety's fourth.
What came ahead of safety?
The almighty buck. Efficiency. Not delaying trains to do things that should have been done.
Who could have
With the cuts in staffing, there's fewer car inspectors. It used to be the car inspectors would have 5...
It's like, don't worry about those car inspections. Did you see this one black person that committed a crime? Yeah, we've got to have more police now. Yeah, there was a black person that robbed a 7-Eleven, so the police station needs a tank.
He's actually, this part he's spitting. He's correct. He's actually spitting.
Oh, God.
Have you done formal research in public discourse and modern communication systems? No, actually. I've only ever taken one, like, the closest I've gotten to that is, like, I took one poli-sci class and that's it. That's really not even close.
Yeah, let's solve this problem right away.
To 8 minutes.
He literally just needs to learn how to speak better. It's literally that simple. I think the problem is that, like, in his head, he is convinced, and this is going to be this is probably a bit of I don't want to say armchair psychology because that's not accurate. It's more of like, I'm making a bit of an assumption, and I admit that it's a bit of an assumption. It feels like his worldview, according to like how much I've seen of him, it feels like his worldview is that like there are the SJWs, crazy SJWs that want to, you know, make America woke. And then there are the crazy conservatives that want to like destroy America. And if only there were more reasonable, rational people like me. This is Asmongold. Instead of realizing that like this caricature of like SJWs was invented by conservatives to make people like Asmongold become centrists. Like this caricature of like SJWs, it's like 1 in a billion people that are actually this caricature. So this is like his worldview. The foundation of his worldview is this. So he will never have the capacity to make consistently good opinions. And I've talked about this before. Like, I feel awkward when people come in chat and they're like, well, how can I be better at doing this? How can I be better at doing this? Because I'm just some lady on the internet, okay? That's all I am. I'm just a lady who wants to get on and I want to talk about some stuff, okay? If the best suggestion I can give you is to just try and have a good understanding of where your foundation is and make sure that your foundation is based on things that are actually real. Make sure that you are not so far gone that like you unironically think that like trans people are coming to steal your genitals. Make sure that all of your opinions are actually based in reality. You know? Like, for example, a really, 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 really worthwhile example is that, like, people will say, like, people will say this all the time. Oops. That, right, there we go. That, like, I have to be centered. Otherwise, I'm going to horseshoe theory myself because there's an extreme right. This is FR, not like for real, but like far right. And there's an extreme left. There's the far left. There's an alt left and there's an alt right. So I have to make sure my opinions are constantly centered. Otherwise, I'm going to get like pulled too far in one direction. But this is fake. This is also fake. If you actually go and look at like what the FBI has classified as actual domestic terrorist organizations, you will see the internal documents that they've released show that they do not give a fuck about Antifa. They do not consider Antifa a threat even remotely. Do you know who they do consider a threat? The Proud Boys. Do you know who they do consider a threat? The lone wolves who shoot up schools. If you look at actual declassified information from your government officials whose job is to try and like figure out what is the biggest threat to America, specifically with the FBI internally in America, from America, by America, you will realize they don't give a fuck about Antifa. You want to know why? Because Antifa hasn't committed these like atrocities that organizations like the Proud Boys have. Not a single one of these mass school shooters ever turns out to be a member of Antifa. You know what they all end up being? They all end up being people who were on 4chan. They all end up being people who were in the Proud Boys. They were all people who look up to people like Andrew Tate or et cetera, et cetera. Like, it is not Antifa is not considered a domestic threat. And even specifically because it's not an organized group. There is no leader of Antifa. There is an appointed leader of the Proud Boys. So you have to be concerned because the leader of any individual group has a lot of sway and power over these people. That's why the FBI, their declassified documents literally show that the only concerns that they have about domestic threats, or the major ones that they have, are white supremacists in the United States. So it's very easy, I think, when someone else tells you, well, I'm sane, I don't want to be in part of the far right and the far left. They're using like an appeal to your, what's the term? It's like intuition, I think. They're saying like, isn't this the most reasonable thing? If there's a far right, there has to be a far left. And if there's a far left and a far right, we should be careful to stay away from these things. They're trying to appeal to something that isn't reality. It's not. So just like constantly make sure that you're, just constantly make sure. No, I'm not talking about the Golden Center. I'm talking about like the appeal of like there has to be a far left, right? I'm talking about that part. And it's the same thing for everything. Like when you hear people say like these trans people want to put kids in surgery, go talk to a trans person. You know, be polite, be kind, be like, you know, tell me about your experience, blah, blah, blah. These dudes over here are telling me that you want to like trans our kids. I don't know anything about this. I think it's wrong for me to trust just this person. Let me listen to what you have to say. And you will find very quickly that your opinions are going to become a lot more like leveled, and they're going to become a lot more reasonable. Oh, is it this one? Argument from incredulity? I always fuck up this word, like my dyslexia. From personal, yeah, appeal to common sense. This is the one I was looking for. It's an appeal to common sense of like, have you seen those crazy people on Twitter? There has to be a far left. Do you see these people? But there isn't. And if you do any amount of research, you will realize that the far left is not a threat to the United States. You want to know why? Because all the crazy people on Twitter, guess what? They don't leave their fucking rooms. The crazy people on Twitter who are like, for example, sending death threats to people playing the Hogwarts game, those are people who are too afraid to ask for another packet of ketchup at the McDonald's. Okay? They are not a threat to America. Maybe they're online freaks. Yeah, sure. But it doesn't exist. It's fake. There is, however, a far-right movement. There is one. Like the people who like, anytime Hassan literally does anything, and there's always like 10,000 people that are like, wow, Hassan yet again being a fake socialist. Those are people who are not causing domestic threats. Those are people who like, they go in and ask their mommy, like, can we have chicken nuggies for dinner? Okay? These are not organized people. You know who are organized and are an actual threat? The fucking far right. Those people actually want you dead. And those people will actually organize to make sure it happens. That's what I'm saying. Like, I just don't, it gets me frustrated when I see people like Asmongold do this, because I don't like that they position themselves as being like these sane centrists when their worldview is on a faulty premise, because there is no far left happening. It's not here. No, Denims, the people who think queer people should be exterminated and the people who want everyone to have access to healthcare are equally bad. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing with like, I mean, you guys all know, but like in the United States, like there is no left and right. There is a center and there's a right. Like if this is true center, maybe like center by like Western European standards or something, or like Nordic country standards, and this is left and this is right. Like Biden is here. And then like people like Ron DeSantis are over here. Oh, thank you. I've been working on my mouse handwriting. And I mean, yeah, people in chat are already saying this is far too left for even Biden. He's further right. Yeah. Like this left, this problem of like, there are these crazy people on the left. It's not real. Where would you put Bernie? Bernie is like barely on the cusp, I think, of like, why did I make him so tiny? Of like starting to go left. I wouldn't call him center, but he's just like, he's moved, you know what I mean? So he's on the left. And even Bernie, he's just barely on the left too. Maybe a little bit more, but yeah, like right about there. I think most people would put him somewhere between here and here. And this is like a random chart, like, you know, what are these metrics? What am I measuring? Smith and Wesson are literally promoting the Proud Boys now. What about AOC? AOC is probably like she's like barely to the right of Bernie, I would say. Just cuz she's had weird voting history on like, for example, like funding for Israel and some other stuff. When like it's literally an apartheid state there, so like, but overall her policies are good. Overall, most of her voting record is good. Overall, she advocates for the left. Overall, she advocates for worker rights. Like, she just has had some voting records that have been like, her foreign policy is like a little questionable. Her domestic policy is amazing. If you ask me just her domestic policy, I would put her right where Bernie is in terms of domestic policy. So yeah. Need to do a leftist tier list, yeah. Bernie, watch out, she's right behind you. Bernie, no. Do you think she has to do this because of the DNC? So I've actually thought about this a little bit, and I've talked to some people who are more delved into like actual politics than I am, and that's been their explanation because I don't sit down and watch a lot of C-SPAN. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I don't want to. It's a lot of it is very boring. I would rather just watch the results and just see the results and see how people have voted historically. And I've spoken to people who do more of this than I do. More like gritty politics and stuff, because I care about the social aspect, like social well-being and social politics as much as the other stuff. In my experience streaming, people tend to care about the social thing more, so I cover that more. Because I am under the belief that if you want to do real good change on the internet, you are going to be way more successful being someone who covers normie stuff with a political lens than you will be trying to make politics entertaining. But that's just me. Everyone does whatever they want, you know. And I forgot what I was answering your question. Oh yeah, people that I've spoken to who do more gritty politics, they've said like, you have to understand that like when she was in the House, she has to appeal to people like Nancy Pelosi that like if she wants to get certain bills passed, she has to concede on other bills. She has to make these trades. And I'm like, really? And like they've explained it to me and I'm like, okay. So I understand that there are instances where there are justifications. Oh, thank you, Rogue Stereo. But it still really sucks to see. She has to LARP as a lib, yeah. And that's a conversation I think for another day. But it's like the US is not, there is no like, oh my God, I don't want to be too far left or too far right. I got to be center. Because center in the United States, center is like here. This is center in the United States. And I think it has a lot to do with like purity, like leftist purity, by the way. People are very afraid. People are very scared to be wrong. People are scared to say the wrong thing. People are scared to like be incorrect. And it's much easier to be a right winger because you can be the dumbest motherfucker on the planet and the right's like, you vote for Biden, brother? Oh, hell yeah. I don't care what your other opinions are. Well, as long as we both voted Trump, we're in it together. You know, on the left, it's like, so okay, so you voted Biden. Good for you. So where were you during the BLM protests? Oh, I was like, it was COVID and like I have a mother back at home and I didn't want to catch COVID at one of these protests. And my mom is like high risk. Oh, okay. So let me get this straight. Your white mother is more important than the lives of thousands of black people. Is that right? And you're like, you know, I donated some money to the cause. I tried to help provide some like water and, you know, medical assistance or whatever. I just couldn't go there. And it's like you're not even like a real ally. It's crazy, you know, like the left is infighting that there are just some people that are like so brain rotted and it's a small minority. It's a really small minority. This is too real. Stop. Yeah. But it's really bad. It's really, really bad. And conservatives don't give a fuck. Conservatives will be like, huh? You're gay? What'd you vote? Trump. All right, well. Don't worry, we'll take away your rights eventually, as long as you're with us for now, buddy. Like, that's literally the conservative playbook. It's literally it. One of the good ones, yeah. So I just don't. I think he just doesn't know. It's someone else said it, that he just doesn't realize that the root of the problems is like literally capitalism. So yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, to be clear, 1,000,000% true to this right here. Purity is more important to the online left, I feel. In union organizing and stuff like that, people are more relaxed, I find. When you go to actual protests, actual rallies, when you talk to people who are part of their local DSA chapter, people who actually perform mutual aid, people who actually try and get homeless people into housing, into safe, clean housing, those people are very normal. They don't believe in purity testing. They're saying, are you helping? You're trying to help us achieve our goals? Great. We don't give a fuck what you did. Whatever you did before, whatever your past was, whatever you were a conservative, you voted conservative, you were like a raging racist, whatever. What are you now? You are someone who wants to help financially or physically or however. Great. Come on board. And the only time you get kicked out of those spaces is when you start being bigoted in those spaces, or you start being like a nuisance or trouble in those spaces. So like if you were part of a local DSA chapter and you start like sexually harassing women there, they're probably going to kick you out. Yeah. But that's not leftist purity. That's keeping that space safe from people like you. And even though you will get kicked out of spaces like that, there is still like some sectors of leftism that's like, well, it's fine if you don't like women. We don't like them either. Come help us do this mutual aid. Like the real world is very different. It's very, very different. There isn't this like pitchfork, mentality when someone was wrong one time. So anyways, okay. I just want to make sure that I'm not saying like all leftists or anything like that. Yeah, exactly. Also, people like Asmon are always like, the problem isn't one side or the other. Both sides misuse the system, while ignoring that one side misuses the system to be ineffectual institutional Dems, and the other side misuses the system to literally poison the water and air and to murder people and take away their rights. I think that there is a big difference between conservatives that I love that we have an online FEMA camp for Hassan watchers. Yeah. I think it's a very big difference. Like the conservative mentality is like, how do we take away gay people's rights? How do we take away trans people's rights? How do we take away women's rights? How do we do as much harm as possible? How do we stop teaching people about slavery? How do we stop teaching people that like Black Americans have been unbelievably mistreated? And literally Black Americans are like, can we just get a fair shake? Can we just like get treated fairly? We're willing to forgive you guys for all of this shit, but could you just put some money into our communities, money that you stole from us? And conservatives are like, wow, you guys are so entitled. You guys are so entitled. It's like, oh my God, like Black Americans are literally asking for the bare minimum. The bare minimum. And white conservatives are like, it's just crazy. You give people a dime and they ask for $1. It's absolutely disgusting. But yeah, so. Hey, Dennis, can us refugees get a top of the hour ad break segue? I'm going through withdrawals.
Oh my God. They're down to something like 30 seconds a car.
From 5 to 8 minutes to 30 seconds?
And if they're taking too long, they hear about it.
So the company was prioritizing profits.
One of my uncles used to do truck driving. I don't know if he still does it or not. I'm not sure. But like he said the same fucking thing. He said he used to be able to just stop off and just chill out and get some food on the way over to a drive. But like now they have like a GPS on his ass. And so like the second like he goes off the fucking Google Maps and he's like, over at fucking Taco Cabana or like Wendy's or something like that, he's getting a phone call. They're like, so did Wendy's need that shipment or did the other company that paid for the stuff, did they need that shipment? So like, what's up with Wendy's? Why are you at Wendy's for? Like, yeah, it's like.
This is the same thing as TOT for Amazon. Oh, you need to pee? Well, sorry, you already wasted all of your break time, so you better pee in this bottle. And also, I think Germany is right. I think Germany is very right in leading the charge with making it so that employers can't contact you after your job is over. I think that is unbelievably amazing. And I think that it is a shame that hasn't been implemented here. Your boss should not be able to fucking text you and call you after work hours are over. They're right about that. That's like the fact that you can tell your boss, sorry, I won't be able to make it in tomorrow. I'm going for a doctor's appointment. I'll bring you the thing later. And that they can call you later and be like, sorry, you really need to come in. Otherwise, like, you know, like I'm going to have to give you less shifts next week. It's like, what? What the fuck?
It's so bad. They go by strike
Over
systems too?
safety
Yeah.
in your experience?
Yes. If we're going to get a handle on situations like this in East Palestine, safety's got to be first.
It's really hitting you
Yeah.
hard.
I'm a safety guy.
Well, it must suck, right? Like you invest 20 years into an industry, and at the very end of your career, because like he worked 20 years. This dude, like, I don't know about his health situation, right? But like, this is not a guy who's probably too old to work, but he's probably too old to deal with that bullshit. Definitely. They probably could still work, and they're like, I don't want to be part of this anymore. This is fucked up.
So, yeah, it does hit me hard. Take steps to start doing things in a safe manner that we used to do, and quit worrying about the damn money.
It's got nothing to do with these companies, by the way. Like, these companies are going to always try to save money as much
And
as
yeah,
they
war is the only way to punish a country, and nobody wants to go to war with the United States. Nobody wants to go to war with the United States. So like for all of these like treaties we sign and shit, when we break them, we're like, what are you guys gonna do? Go to war with us? You guys are so fucking funny. You guys are great. Oh my god. Whew. Finland, you're the best. Like, who's gonna do it? No one's gonna fucking do it. Are you kidding me? No one wants their country bombed for the next decade.
fucking can. The problem is the government. It's the fucking government. That's the issue. The government is taking bribes from these fucking companies, and they're cutting costs and letting them walk all over them. It's both, yeah, but the difference is that we don't have any power over some fucking railroad company. We don't get to go vote and say, this is what the rules for the railroad is going to be for this company. This is not the employee system. We can't really do that, but we do have for the government. It's not that it's not their fault. It's that they're the only ones that are really accountable. Can't nationalize them? No, you can't. You regulate it.
Invested hundreds of millions of dollars in new technology to improve rail safety. The company also said it was, quote, committed to doing what's right for the residents of East Palestine and has contributed.
Is he describing like regulations? Sounds like nationalization, regulations, and unions would solve that.
More than $6 million to the community in response to this disaster. On Tuesday, the Biden administration announced Norfolk Southern would be responsible for the entire cost of the cleanup.
Good.
A process that could take months.
Fuck them.
Time and money are tight, but I don't feel safe to go back.
They deserve to pay more than that. Not only should they pay for the cost of the cleanup, they should pay for the cost of the harm that they've caused all of these people.
I don't even know where to go.
We won't go back to that house.
I would never sleep at night knowing that it could be worse because I made it worse because I brought him back there.
Yeah.
I want him to have a normal life. I don't want to keep being involved of like wondering, is it safe to stand in this rain right now? Can I let him splash in that puddle? Like, I don't want to have to be questioning everything.
A rainbow puddle. Yeah, that's some Chernobyl shit.
I'm Michael Learmonth, editor-in-chief of Vice News. Too often, traditional news outlets shy away from the real stories and experiences of those living through global conflicts. Not Vice News. Our reporters are on the ground.
They should pay for all harm done, plus punitive damages. 1,000,000% I agree. They should be paying for all of the cleanup costs. They should be paying a punitive fine for letting it happen in the first place. A heavy punitive fine. One that they will actually feel, not some measly like few $1,000s. And they should pay for all harm done to any citizens.
fearlessly covering the human stories that shape our world. You and millions of others can continue to read, watch, and listen to Vice News for free. But we hope you'll consider making a one-time or ongoing contribution of any size at vice.com/contribute. Every contribution, no matter how big or small, helps support the journalism Vice News brings to you every day. Thank you.
All right. Well, yeah, I mean, shit. Probably better than CNN. Who the fuck knows? Let me link you guys a video. Yeah, there you go. Trump enacted deregulation. Bro, I don't give a fuck who did it. Like, you think I think this is like a points game between Trump and Biden, bro. Like, everybody loses whenever this stuff happens at all. That's how they control you, is that like you're sitting there thinking about whose side fucked up. Bro, I'm thinking about that it's fucked up. That's how they get you, man. They keep you on one side so you don't actually think about what's going on. They hoodwink you back and forth, and then it's like, oh, it's this, it's that, it's the other guys, it's these guys. Oh, like everything, you know, on our side is fine, but it's the other side. And
no one is doing that. No one is doing that. This is just a good opportunity to say, like, Biden is a piece of shit, but at least he's not fucking Trump. And we shouldn't allow, like, we shouldn't be picking between Biden and Trump. We should be picking between Biden and someone else. Oh, this stuff is so infuriating to me.
like, you're thinking about this other fucking bullshit. Like, yeah, let's say they are corrupt over there. Okay, well, what are you going to do about it? Like, I think that, again, people that focus on, like, one side of the political, like, bro, people, all of these politicians take money. The Trump or whoever is not special. Like, they all do this. Like, there are some people that do it a lot less, like Bernie Sanders. That's not true. Every single one does it all the time. No, there is a spectrum, but it is a very, very, very dark spectrum. Let's say that. They take more money than they take life. Well, they take whatever they need to take. That's what it is. It's not about...
They get you to chatting. They get you on one side. That way, you try to affect change. Unlike me, I refuse to look at the causes of the problems and look at the total picture and go, this sucks. Yeah. This is what conservatives want, by the way. This is what conservatives want. They want you to stop caring about, like, they want you to push this narrative that it's like, well, everybody's bad. And you know what? We're going to fix this problem somehow once we figure it out.
Teams, they should be individually accountable. Yeah, they should be. I mean, I think this is a W for Vice putting this video out here. Holy shit, I hadn't seen this before, so I'm glad somebody linked this to me, so I'm actually able to watch it. Any power base or a real working class solidarity party in this country could oppose that kind of death-causing regulation? No, they can't, because a lot of the people in the working class, they're not properly educated. They don't fucking know what's going on. And because of that, you have these media companies that run circles and laps around them, convincing them that the biggest fucking problem is, like, transsexuals in bathrooms. Meanwhile, there's trains derailing with chemical compounds that we don't even understand that could kill thousands of people. It's nuts. Like, I can't fucking believe this shit still happens. And so, yeah. And the problem is that
he can do it. See, look, he can do it. He can cover politics well. Why does he act so confused that people are upset that he's callous about other aspects? I just don't get it. I'm so confused by this. Like, it completely boggles my mind that he's capable of recognizing that, like, this is a serious issue. We need to take this seriously. Do you think he does it just for, I wonder if he would ever be honest about it or, like, answer a question from anyone that asks, like, because I'm like a who omega, well, he's not going to talk to me. And also, he probably, if he knows about me, he probably thinks I'm like a dedicated hater or something. It's not what I am. I'm just someone who's frustrated because I think he's someone who's irresponsible with his platform. But do you think he would ever, like, answer the question of, like, why don't you ever address that, like, you can be more responsible? Do you think he does it on purpose? Do you think he does it on purpose so we can get more, like, attention and clout and stuff? Or do you think it's literally just, like, a commitment to, like, the edgy bit where he's like, well, I want to, because it feels very, like, it feels very shoe on head. And by that, I mean that, like, Shoe on Head is someone who she believes genuinely every word that she says. Anyone who calls her a grifter is a complete liar. Every word that comes out of her mouth is something she believes to her core. Okay? But she also doesn't recognize that, like, I think she's finally recognized it, but not really. That, like, you have to be responsible with your platform. That like, I can't just get on and say whatever the fuck I want to say, because that is bad. That even just like your genuine opinions, you're not trying to cause harm. That's still not good enough. That like, I feel like in Asmongold's brain, he's like, but my intentions are good. And I said all the right things at the end. Why are you needling me on this other stuff? But it's like, because that should be the goal. The goal should be that everything you say is good. And both Asmon and Shu, it feels like they have like an attachment, like they have like an emotional attachment to like the edginess. And they think that it's like, I don't want to lose the edginess and then become boring like all the rest of these losers. What do you think it is? Do you think he does it to farm, or do you think it's what I just said? Because I genuinely can't. I can't. It's edgy free speech absolutism. I'm not even going to address this comment. Definitely can't let go of the edgy lord lifestyle. Do you guys think that's what it is? Asmon does what Asmon wants to do, and he isn't deterred by anyone who thinks that he's doing wrong. He always thinks that he's right, and he bans anyone who disagrees. It's a bit of a hug box. God, like literally, I hate people like you. I'm sorry. This is mean. This is definitely mean, and I should be nicer.
Taught any sort of fucking problem solving skills, any way to understand statistics in whatever high school probably is over here, I bet they don't. I bet they have no fucking idea what any of that stuff is. So whenever you explain something to them in a a scientific or a simple way, well, they're not going to understand it at all because they're not taught to, and why would they? People are just taught to be just smart enough to do their job and just dumb enough to not understand who the people that are, in control of the government aren't doing theirs. That's what I think. Hillbilly calling people hillbilly. Oh, I'm a hillbilly? I'm not. You think HAARP and controlling weather causing earthquakes another conspiracy? Bro, I don't give a fuck about HAARP controlling earthquakes because like this is why conspiracy people always fucking lose. Is that it's always all or nothing. What the fuck are you doing talking about HAARP for? Like, you're so stupid. Nobody's going to believe that there's some fucking weather machine that's in Alaska that's controlling the weather. It doesn't matter what what's that wrestler guy's name? The Navy SEAL guy? It doesn't matter what Jesse Ventura tells you about it. It doesn't make a difference. You're focusing on some fucking stupid bullshit that nobody, it's not defined. It's not as clear-cut and obvious as people that are lobbying to have this shit changed. It's like you're thinking about level 7 whenever you can't get past level 2, and you're never going to do it because you keep focusing on bullshit whenever there's so much more obvious, more immediate problems right in front of you that you don't need to convince somebody with 8 different YouTube documentaries that are 6 hours long, and it's like just white text on a black background talking about the Rothschilds. The messaging is totally wrong. And that's why these people shoot themselves in the fucking foot, is people like Alex Jones are right every once in a while. And you know what? It doesn't matter because they're wrong all the rest of the time. And they can't cut the bullshit and focus on things that they can actually change. They keep fixating on stupid little fucking things like the frogs being gay or something like that, instead of these politicians taking like fucking hundreds of thousands of dollars. You go back, and this is the worst thing about it, is Alex Jones, back in the day, he's from the same city I am. I know where he went to. He would go to some of these fucking council people's houses, and he would say, look, all the regulations that they have, they're not following their own regulations. Why is this happening? Why are they making rules for people and then not following their own rules? This is what he used to do. And ever since Sandy Hook, that guy went off the fucking rails. It's so disappointing because you need people like that to actually pay attention to what happens. But they're too focused on these weird cultural war bullshit things. And this stuff happens, and people are making billions of dollars behind the scenes while everybody else fights about if frogs are gay or not. Let me see what this is. Problem with conspiracies. They're hard to distinguish the real ones from the fake.
It's crazy how close he is to getting it. It's like crazy. He's like right there. He's like on the cusp. He's so close. He's so close.
Fake ones. The problem is that they always focus on the fake ones that are so...
The rotten rat alarm clock fried his brain. Stop. Oh, Logan, thank you for the raid. Hello, Raiders. Welcome.
again, it's like why focus on the one that's hard to prove? Why not focus on the one that's like obvious? Like everybody knows, like it's a conspiracy, like fucking lobbying is a conspiracy. Why do you focus on this other one that like people have to like believe like 3 different levels of things that are not verifiable for? It just makes stupid people feel smart because they think that they have some sort of hidden knowledge that they don't actually have. That's what I think it is.
Dog, weren't you like a month ago saying that like MLK and Andrew Tate are the same because actually Andrew Tate is being arrested falsely? Dog, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh Lord in heaven. Lord in heaven, save me. Oh, hi, Mayor. Hi. How's it going? You having a good day, Mayor? You having a good day? What are you going to do today, Mayor? You going to take some naps? Eat some food? Run around a little? Oh, man. I know, to be clear, he did recant it. He did say he apologized for that. He did say he was wrong about that. But I think it is funny to say that like other people they buy into conspiracy theories so quickly. And then he literally made one up. But yeah, your cat looks like my cat. It's so cute. Yeah, he's a little cutie.
Sean speaks bullshit sometimes. Yeah, of course he does. I would say he speaks bullshit most of the time. Is real conspiracy? No, I understand that. Like, I get that. Like, and that's what I'm saying, is that it's not really that big of a problem in most people's lives. Yeah, I know. And that's why it works. Because they can't be proven wrong. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, making time with worthless bullshit. Yeah, conspiracy. Like, who gives a fuck, man? Like, there's so many more obvious problems in the world, and people get so fixated on these little stupid things. He's right about the frogs. He was. It seems like he was right about the frogs. And the thing is that, again, you know what? It doesn't fucking matter that he was right about the frogs. And you know why? What? Because he was wrong about a bunch of other bullshit like Sandy Hook. Like, that's why.
Oh, my Lord. Oh, my Lord.
So it's like, and that's why it makes me mad, is because you do have people that are right about this stuff every once in a while. And it doesn't matter because they keep shooting. I don't feel safe.
No,
Ohio's
why'd you
train
step on the
derailed.
keyboard? Why did you do that, Mayor?
It makes stupid people feel smart because they think that they have some sort of...
Wow,
I would say he speaks
dude,
bullshit.
I'm so glad I'm not an Asmongold chatter. These messages are so fucking dumb. I just saw a message pass by that was claiming that the left claims that it's the patriarchy's fault. Like, what the fuck? This is what I mean, by the way, guys. This is what I mean when I say you need to make sure that your foundation is solid. You need to make sure that your positions, the things that you think, they actually make sense. People have like policed me before because I follow like a few conservatives. His YouTube comments are worse. Yeah. I follow a few conservatives, but I literally follow the conservatives so my brain can actually remain in reality. So I can actually be like, what are conservatives saying about this? So I follow conservative pundits, and I also follow like small conservative pages, like pages that don't make money. They're just conservative people, because I want to constantly make sure that I'm not like straw manning these people. Like, I want to criticize people for the things that they actually say. That's why I don't get on and I'm like, oh, conservatives they literally just want to make our water brown or something. I don't fucking know that. That was a terrible example. Like 0 out of 10. Please, like, report me. You can unfollow and unsubscribe for that. He took a real issue and made it into a silly frog gay conspiracy BS. Yeah. 1 out of 10. Yeah. 1 out of 10. That's fair. 2 out of 10 is generous. Thank you. I appreciate it. Like conservatives, for example, I follow a few of like those YouTube commentary channels that are basically just conservative shitholes. Conservatives don't want anything brown in this country. You have to stop. Stop. It's something I enjoy about Hassan. He addresses the points that conservative pundits bring up while doing it in an entertaining, easy way to understand. Yeah. They barely like Italians. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. So I don't want to bring the ire of this person is the problem, but there's like a YouTuber I follow, and he's like, I actually followed his channel initially because he had like really good commentary on like this show I didn't like. And I was like, oh my God, he's pointing out all the things I didn't like based. And then he's just been more and more and more conservative every single time I see him. And this conservative guy is like, he's like a very small YouTuber, but he's like convinced that like wokeism is destroying America. Like he's convinced that like wokeism is what created She-Hulk. You know? And it's like, what are you talking about? Huh? Or like, did anyone here watch like Resident Evil, the recent show? The show that was on Netflix that was like barely about Resident Evil. He like blamed wokeism for that. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Why can't we all just agree that the show was bad? There's no wokeism. But like that helps me stay centered because I'm like, okay, what are the actual conservatives saying? What are the actual conservative people saying? Oh, he's a very like quartering type channel. But quartering is like definitely a grifter. He definitely just does it because he makes money. We raise people to conflate corporations with individuals, where that kind of take comes from. Yeah. Sees black people. Why does it gotta be political? So yeah. The quarter pounder. God damn.
Ships to the time.
Grounded. That's the word. Thank you.
Is real conspiracy? No, I understand that. Like, I get that. Like, and that's what I'm saying, is that because it's not really that big of a problem in most people's lives. Yeah, I know. And that's why it works, because they can't be proven wrong. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, amazing time with worthless bullshit. Yeah, conspiracy. Like,
you know what's a good example? You know what's a good example? I get a little bit annoyed. Oh my God, Kate. I get a little bit annoyed when people on the left, they criticize conservatives. Oh God, no, it was right there. Come on, brain, you can do it. Got it. I got it. It makes me a little upset when people on the left criticize conservatives for being always malicious. When in reality, there is a huge swath of the population that is conservative because their system has failed them. That these are people who are not evil. They're not evil people. They're people who were told that Donald Trump would bring back their job. There is a lot of because you have to understand, you have to recognize that, like, for example, on the abortion debate, right? The majority of Americans, the vast majority of Americans are pro-abortion. Like, they are pro-access to abortion. There's like, what is it, like 40 or 50% of conservatives are like pro-abortion, right? Those people still vote conservative. Why? Why are these people who are pro-abortion voting Trump? And you have to take a step back. You have to take a step back and think about it, or you have to take a step back and talk to these people. And you have to realize two things. The only thing that they can be concerned about is the fact that they have noticed their living conditions have gone to shit. They've noticed that they used to be able to afford a 2-bedroom home easily, and now they had to move out and get a mobile park home. And they look around and they're like, well, Democrats have been in power for the past 8 years and my life has gotten worse. And Trump eats at McDonald's. He's one of us. He's going to help us. You have to take a step back and remember there is a large population of conservatives in the United States that they just don't know where to turn. And they are so busy just trying to live that they don't have time to concern
Plenty of
themselves
these
with
conservatives
politics.
also felt like the right could not be trusted. A lot of the campaign language for Trump's first election was drain the swamp. This doesn't forgive their glancing over racist rhetoric like build the wall and deport Muslims.
Yep. And so like these people, for them, they don't really, when they see Trump say something like grab him by the pussy, they ignore it. When they see him say something about deporting Mexicans, they ignore it. There is, of course, that group of conservatives that is actually hateful, but there are conservatives, and I'm sure you guys have met these people, by the way, conservatives who are like, I don't care what James and Jim do in their bedroom. They can get married. I don't really care. What I care about is that these damn Democrats are trying to drain me of all my money through taxes. And these people are real. They're very real. And it makes me a little furious to see people on the left pretend like these people don't exist. Because they do exist. They do. And we can bring them to our side. We can unite them through class. We can say, okay, you guys don't understand the social issues. Fine. We're both poor. We need you to understand you voting Trump doesn't make you less poor. And I get it. Your money is making you so stressed out that you can barely pay your bills. You don't have the time to take your kids to daycare and to the hospital when they, or like to the doctor when they need to go to the doctor. And you barely have enough time to like cook dinner or like lunch so that you guys actually eat real food. And you guys don't have the money to get takeout and you don't have the money to do this. And you're barely like just surviving. When you talk to these people, they don't understand that Trump is not helping them. They don't get it. They don't even they don't understand any of it. They're like very, very, very far gone because their education system has failed them. That's literally every single right-winger we have in NM. I grew up around those people. Hi, Polly. Also, my parents they just said kids want litter boxes in school, so they are gone. Yeah, because conservatives see, oh, these people, we can appeal to them. These are like white Americans. We can appeal to them. So we'll fearmonger like that left wants, kid litter boxes in schools and stuff because they want to make the left seem as crazy as possible because the right doesn't actually have any positions to make people's lives better. So they just have to make the left seem worse than them. That's the only winning strategy that they have. And it works. And it works really well. So this would be an example, right? Of like, you need to make sure that your criticisms of your opposition are actually correct. As long as you are certain and you do your due diligence to make sure that the criticism of your opponents are valid, like that you have a good understanding of the type of person that you are talking to, your politics will probably be good. The rest of it solves itself. As long as you make sure you're never like being too biased and that you're actually like humanizing these people, the rest of the politics come easily. All the other politics, they come easily. All the other positions comes easily. You should understand their stance better than they do. Yes! 100% correct. People on the left just don't want to admit how incredibly talented the right is at pushing propaganda in relatively simple, understandable terms. I've talked about it all the time. The way the right is unbelievably good at propaganda. I've never seen such amazing propaganda. The right wing in America is just crazy. They're more concerned with their well-being and how the place they live in has gotten worse, like how drug addictions have been destroying low-income areas. Yep. Leftists in the West need to read more about like socialist experiments in the global South because they often come out of the educated classes working on behalf of the poor. Expecting the poorest populations to understand theory is crazy. Yep. 1,000,000%, 1,000,000% based.